Good morning. In this week's parasha of Vayishlach, we read about a very interesting instruction that Yaakov gives to his family. After he has returned and brought his family from Haran to Israel, where he's lived for so many years, after he's had a war against Shechem, Hashem appears to him and tells him to return and rededicate the altar at Beit El, which he had built when he first left Israel. And as he's about to do so, he instructs his family. Yaakov said to his household and all who were with him, Hasiru et Elohei anecha asher batochachem. Remove the foreign gods that are with you, in other words, the idols that are with you. V'itaru, and purify yourselves. V'echlifu simloteichem, and change your clothes. Now the purification we understand. Changing your clothes. On one level, some of the commentaries say that you should wear your nicest clothes when you go on a pilgrimage to Hashem. That's what he's telling them. But the confusing instruction is to get rid of the idols. What were Yaakov's family walking around with all these idols in their backpacks that he now needs to tell them to get rid of them all? So many of the commentaries approach these questions from a halachic legal standpoint. They say that Yaakov and his family had gone to war against the city of Shechem. Part of the booty that they had captured had included idols, and there are very specific laws about items that had been used for idol worship. Under what circumstances do they remain prohibited and forbidden as idols? Under what circumstances can you, so to speak, undo it, negate their forbidden status? Can somebody who takes possession of it negate it, or must it be the idol worshipper themselves negated it? And they look at those questions and they say that Yaakov's family may have been in possession of some items that they would have considered jewelry or ornamentation, but that actually had a questionable status as idol worship. The Ramban, by the way, says something similar when it comes to the clothing. He says that perhaps their clothing was shatnez. One of the mitzvot related to our clothing is that we are not allowed to wear clothing made of wool and linen, combination of wool and linen. And the Ramban's famous principle is that our forefathers, before the giving of the Torah, were bound by Torah observance in Israel, but not outside of Israel. And so therefore, the Meshech Chochmah says, according to this approach of the Ramban, it could be that outside of Israel they were wearing shatnez because that wasn't a prohibition. But inside of Israel, they now had to wear only wool or only linen. Polyester wasn't yet invented. But I heard from Rabbi Jonathan Rosenblatt, and I think this is what the Ibn Ezra is saying on Parshat Vayelech, that Rabbi Rosenblatt explained that a lot of things have societal implications and connotations, and a lot of things mean more than we understand them to mean, depending on the context, depending on the society. One example is a kippah. There were times in the Jewish world where very observant people did not wear a kippah. There were times when it did not carry with it the same kind of declaration that it carries with it today. Today, it has a very different feeling. To wear a kippah or to not wear a kippah is making a statement about one's religious affiliation. Things have a different meaning and a different connotation, and you have to be sensitive to that. You have to be sensitive to where you are and to what you are doing means. Not just what you mean by it, but what declaration you are making and what it means to others. And that, said Rabbi Rosenblatt, was what Yaakov was saying to his children over here. He was saying to them that what you considered in Haran was considered a harmless diversion, a toy, entertainment, or maybe even something involved in the service of Hashem. Now that we're in Israel, those things are no longer acceptable. Now that we're in Israel, we're living in a different place, which has different standards, different rules, different ways of relating to Hashem. And so therefore we need to be sensitive to that, and it's a very important message. Because the idea is that it's not just, is what I'm doing right or wrong? Is what I'm doing what the halakha says or not? Obviously that's fundamentally important, but it goes beyond that as well. What am I declaring through my action or inaction? What am I doing what does what I'm doing mean, and how is it going to be understood by all of those around me? Shabbat Shalom.